Hello everyone. With this video tutorial, I'm going to explain about JavaScript, which is we already know a client-side scripting language used for delivering the dynamic content, right? When we are talking about websites or web pages, it can be divided into basically two sections like static content and the dynamic content. Static web pages or static content is not changing, whatever the content or the layout is not changing according to the user input. It has the same content, same layout for all the users. But dynamic pages, it can be changed according to the user input. So dynamic content can be get with using two technologies, client-side scripting and the server-side scripting. Static web pages can be get by using HTML and CSS. So in the dynamic content, these client-side scripting languages can be either JavaScript, Ajax, and so on. Server-side scripting languages like PHP, Java EE, ASP.NET, those are some server-side scripting languages. Right. So since this is a client-side scripting languages, just like HTML, CSS, it execute in the client machine, but not in the server machine. Server-side scripting languages works in the server machines, right? Why we use these client-side scripting languages? These are some uses. There are mainly we can discuss about three usages of client-side scripting languages: form verification or its form validation, and we can use some animation and some small intelligence part. I will explain these three. Form verification, you already know that when we are creating a form, we have to check whether the user entered the correct data type, correct value. So there are some errors, some missing parts, some unwanted characters are there in the value. So these check can be done with using client-side scripting languages. There are two ways when we are performing a validation, whether it is client-side or whether it is server-side. You can perform both client-side and server-side verification when you are creating a form. That would be much secure and much effective. Document animation means when you are creating a web page, sometimes you might need some small graphics, small animation parts. Those things can be done with using client-side scripting languages, especially with using JavaScript. Right? Basic document intelligence means sometimes you might have to work with events, event handling. Some when you are working with linking elements, like when you want to work with mouse click, key press, and when you have some anchor tags, you might have to perform some functions, perform some actions on that event. So that can be done with client-side scripting languages. These are some examples for client-side scripting languages: JavaScript, JavaScript, VBScript, ActionScript, and Ajax. Here in this tutorial, we are going to discuss about JavaScript. JavaScript actually started on 1996 by the Netscape, and it include this document object model, which is a kind of method we are using to access links, anchors, and values from your forms and some other objects. So these things can be accessed by using this DOM method. In short form, we call as DOM. in expanded version document object model. So it is available, that method is available in JavaScript, which will be much useful when you are working with JavaScript. Browser compatibility, actually JavaScript mostly uh, compatible with most of the web browsers, so there's no issues. But sometimes some versions, some especially Internet Explorer versions, might not be supported. But I know you have much updated web browsers these days. All the versions are not using these days, so this will be supporting most of the web browsers. And when we are talking about this JavaScript, there are two ways which we can insert a JavaScript into our HTML document. The first way is internal way, the second way is external way. Internal way means the whole JavaScript code will be written down in your HTML document. Inside your HTML file, inside your HTML document, you can write any JavaScript code. External script file means your JavaScript code will be written down in a separate file which has the extension as .js, and that will be linked into your HTML document. In that case, you should have two files. One is HTML file and the other one is JS file, right? And you can place this script tag or as JavaScript in your head tag, in HTML tag. Inside the head HTML tag in your document, you can place your script tag, that means your JavaScript code. But also you can place it in your body tag, right? That means you can write JavaScript code anywhere in your HTML document. So let's move on to one simple example. Here you can see it is starting with the script tag in HTML. There's a tag as script which we use to work with JavaScript, right? So you can use this script tag like this, and inside the script tag you can write your JavaScript code. Also, without this, here you can add the src attribute and the name of your JavaScript file. Then you can directly link whatever the JavaScript file here, your external way. That is called as external way. Right, let's discuss this one first. I will show the example. Let's get the notepad plus plus. First, I will show you the internal way. I will start with HTML and I will close the HTML tag from here, and I will add the head, and here I will add the body tag. Right, I will save this file as HTML file. Right, then I will start with the head tag. First I will show you how to write script tag inside the head. So script is the tag you want to write here in HTML document, and inside the script tag you can write any JavaScript code. So the first thing, the first one we are going to do is how to write some output to your web page. To do that, you have a JavaScript code as document.write. Document.write is a function which you can pass any string value to the web page, right? So this will be written down in your web page. Here I will be write as hello world. Now I'm going to save this one, and then let's try to run this one. So you can see hello world has been printed. And then I will show you, I will cut this one and placed it inside the body tag. Now earlier I have written down it inside the head tag, now it is in the body tag, and then I will execute this one. Still hello world is printing, right? Okay, and then uh, in your note you might seen that script language equal JavaScript, type equal text slash JavaScript. That is something like this. You don't need to add that one. Also you can add, that is kind of an optional one. Sometimes it works like this also, right? Without that language JavaScript, those things also, script will be worked. Okay, right. This is how you can add the internal way. Then I'm going to work with the external way. For that, this is my JavaScript file. Here I am going to write the JavaScript code as document.write. Like this, and I'm going to save it as .js, right? You can see this is a JavaScript file. There's no any script tag here because this is a JavaScript file. Script is a HTML tag, and what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to add the script tag in the head, and I'm going to add src attribute here, and I'm going to link this page, right? Now my page name is test.js, so here I will add test.js, and here I will close the script tag. Okay, right, let's see. Now I will execute the HTML file. You can see hello world external, hello world both has been printed. Here I will put a BR, then we can get this into 2 lines, right? This is from the external way, this is the internal way, right? In external way I have hello world external, and I have used BR tag to get this line break. In my HTML document I have this one, just hello world. So you can see both way is working fine, right? That's how you can give an output to your web page with using document.write. And basic JavaScript syntax, actually here I need to mention that JavaScript very much similar with Java. There are some uh, similarities between Java and JavaScript. So you have to remember that each and every statement will be end up with the semicolon. In Java also same, you have to use the semicolon to end up one single statement. And then you can use curly braces as the block delimiter when you are working with if or for loops, maybe functions. In that case, uh, you have to use the curly braces to show the scope of that block, right? Just like you did in Java. And for the comments, just like you have used in Java, you can use double slashes as well as slash and asterisk marks. When you want to comment a single line, you can use double slashes. When you want to comment multiple lines, then you can use slash and asterisk mark, right? Right. Those are some similarities between JavaScript and Java. And then let's move on to the variable, data types and variables. JavaScript is a loosely typed language. That means it is not depend on the data type. That means you don't need to mention the data type when you are creating a variable in JavaScript. Whatever the value, when we are assigning a value to that variable, when it is come to the execution, it will be automatically converted to whatever the data type, right? You don't need to mention a data type. So there's no something like data type in JavaScript. Okay, right. Declaring a variable can be done in two ways. Explicitly declare a variable, implicit declaration. There are two ways, explicit declaration and the implicit declaration. In explicit declaration, you have to use this var keyword, var keyword, but in implicit, you don't need to use var keyword, right? This is much easier than in Java and other programming language because you don't need to add anything. You can just give a variable name and assign a value. You can see here. ඔයාලට පේනවා ඇති මේකෙදි ඔයාලට අනික් ඒවාට වඩා ගොඩක් ලේසි. මොකද මනාත්ම නැතුව data type එකක්වත් එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ වගේ කිසිම මේවා එකක් නැතුව කෙලින්ම මෙතන variable එකේ නම දාලා value එකක් assign කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. That is one way. And if you are using var, that means explicit declaration, you have to use the var. Var can be used for any data type, any kind of type variable. You have to use var. Var is a common var, and you have to use the variable name here. Then you can assign a value. In implicit, you don't need var. You can directly give the variable name here and assign a value. Right. This is how the JavaScript variables are work. Another thing you have to remember is JavaScript variables are case sensitive. That means when you are, these are two different variables. You can see name here, n is simple, here n is capital. So these are two different variables because it is case sensitive language. JavaScript variables have global scope. These all variables have global scope, but when you are declaring it within a function or any other block, it has the local scope. That means it can be accessed within that relevant function. So these are the in integers. It will be support for decimal, either octal, either hexadecimal, And when we're talking about floating point, it can be as you can assign either e values, booleans, true or false. Likewise, you can work with data types. Right. And here, when we are talking about strings as usual, we have to mention it inside the double quotation. And there are some special characters you can see here when you want to take a backspace, when you want to take some line breaks, double quotate. So there are some special characters. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා ඇති මෙතන special characters table එකක් තියෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලා ගන්න. Some tabs, how to get a horizontal tab, how to get a vertical tab. Likewise මේ වගේ line breaks, ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට මෙන්න මේ special characters පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right, let's do some work with variables. අපි බලමු variables එක කොහොමද මේ වැඩේ කරන්න කියලා. Right. Here I have the document.write. I'm going to initialize x equal 10, y equal 35, and I'm going to do the document.write. So I will remove this one for now. දැනට මම ඒක අයින් කරන්න. Right, let's see now. Addition 45. Right? In JavaScript also, for the concatenation purpose, you can use the plus mark. බලන්න plus mark එක concat කරන්න පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. So here I have created two variables which are integer, but you don't need to give any data type. And then what I have done is I have print the addition of those two variables and you get the answer like this. මේ වගේ answer එකක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. Right? Right. So let's see now the implicit declaration. Still the answer, we get the answer, right? Okay, I will do another one. right? You can see the things, the display, all the details has displayed, right? So this is how you can create variables. Maybe you can add strings, maybe you can add integers, so whatever it is you can add, right? This is how you are going to create variables. This is implicit way, you don't need to mention var here. If you want to make it explicit, you can make it as var, right? Right, okay, that's how the, and then we are going to discuss about the arrays. When we are talking about arrays, in JavaScript, we have another function as array. So we can, array is actually kind of a class. You can create an object of that array like this using new keyword. And for that array, you can add your values, right? Right. Let's do this one. Let's try to work with arrays then. I will remove these all the things here. And I'm going to create a new array. Let's say uh, like this. Now let's say you want to print any value from this array. You can print, you have to give the array name here, and just like we did in Java okay. So if you give the index number here, array index number, this is the 0, 1, 2, 3, you can give it, and it's been printed as apple, right? So that's how the arrays are working. New array, and here you can give the elements of your array. Then we have to discuss about operators. Operators are same as Java, so I am not going to explain one by one. You have these assignment operators, as you know: equal, plus equal, minus equal, multiply equal, division equal, like as modulus equal. You have these assignment operators, and you have the arithmetic operators like plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, increment and decrement. Those are same as Java. Comparison operators are there: double equal, triple equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal. And the logical operators also same, and or not. Bitwise operators also there, just like we discussed in the Java වල වගේම තියෙන operators ටික ඒ විදිහටම තියෙනවා. String operators, actually you have the concatenation operator as plus. String concat කරන්න ඔයගලන්ට මේ plus mark එක තියෙනවා. Just that is also same as Java. එකක් Java වල තියෙන විදිහමයි plus mark එක තියෙන්නේ. Right, then we have to discuss about Java control structure. So I will stop the video from here because the video will be much lengthier, and I will discuss the control structures with next video tutorial. Thank you for watching this video tutorial.